What's up, Applied English? You guys get hat hand tag today for another virtual day. So our objective today is different from yesterday. We are going to move forward with some verbs work. We're identifying predicate nouns, predicate adjectives. We'll see how that connects with verbs today as we learn. Once again, on virtual days, I would ask that you take a moment to pray before continuing our video. If you need to pause, that's fine. But otherwise, we will scooch forward in just a moment here. Alright, so I hope you had a moment to pause and pray. What you're watching right now is our predicate nouns and predicate adjectives video. I should have put the word notes there, that's my bad. But in any case, we're just learning about what predicate nouns and predicate adjectives are today. I will tell you that I don't plan to do a whole lot of practice with it today while we're virtual. This is the type of practice we really want to work through together in class. I will also tell you that the PowerPoint we're looking at in our notes video today will be available as a handout too. So if you do want a paper copy of what we're looking at today, it'll be available for you. You can certainly use that as a study material moving forward. A shout out, a lot of you were able to complete our sentence writing practice in class yesterday. A number of you also messaged me to say that you were having some technical issues with it. I will try to address later on in this video something to try to see if that fixes your problems. I've just extended it through tonight just to support those of you who had some technical issues the first time around. But once again, I'm really pleased with how many of you either completed it or tried it over this past day here. Really, really pleased with how much participation we got on our first virtual day. So, predicate nouns, predicate adjectives, we're going to learn what they are today. You're watching our video now, and you'll notice that there is a PowerPoint that you can view just as I pull it up on my screen as well. Again, we'll be practicing this stuff big time in class tomorrow, but I want you to be aware of what these are so that you are ready for tomorrow's class. So you can click View. If you click the file type, it'll download. I'm just going to pull mine up in PowerPoint real quick so we can walk through it together. Alright, sorry if there's a weird jump in the video, just had to get that set up. One thing you'll notice is that this lesson is titled Lesson 5. We are actually skipping Lesson 4, which is forms of be, have, and do. One thing we'll do with some of these verbs lessons that we're skipping over for now is actually move them into semester 2. It'll work as a nice little grammar review as we start off the new semester in January. So first of all, just a couple things we should be aware of for predicate nouns and predicate adjectives. It's super helpful to remember the difference between action verbs and linking verbs. So as a reminder, action verbs are the easier ones to spot. They're the ones that tell what the subject is doing or feeling. Again, any kind of verb that shows a motion or an action is an action verb that shows movement. Again, there are some verbs that talk about how we're feeling or thinking, right? So verbs like to think is an action, sleep is an action, wonder is an action. So things that are also mental are also action verbs. Linking verbs connect the subject to a word within the predicate, and the predicate simply tells us what the subject is, does, has, or feels. We'll talk about subject and predicate a bunch in semester 2 as well. When you think about the predicate of the sentence, usually it's the verb or verb phrase and whatever follows it. It's very oftentimes the back half of a sentence in English. We're largely going to focus on linking verbs today because they are what we connect to predicate nouns and predicate adjectives. So first of all, predicate noun. We know what nouns are really well. Nouns are people, places, things, ideas. Predicate nouns are ones that follow a linking verb, so they come in the back half of a sentence usually, and they identify or rename the subject. For example, if we've got the sentence, cheese is a dairy product, we've got our subject, cheese, we have a linking verb, is, right there, then the question is, cheese is what? Cheese is a product, or dairy product, if you want to treat it as a compound noun. What we see here is product, it's a thing, it's a noun, but specifically it's a predicate noun. It's following a linking verb, it's after is, it's identifying, it's renaming that subject, cheese. What is cheese? Cheese is a product, or cheese is a dairy product. Again, because dairy product is a noun, we're going to treat that as a predicate noun. Predicate adjectives work the same way. They follow a linking verb, but instead of renaming the subject, instead of connecting a noun to a noun, what a predicate adjective does is it connects a noun to an adjective. It describes the subject. An adjective, we talked about this a little teeny tiny bit in our classes, is just a word that describes a noun. In our example sentence, we have the adjectives sweet and creamy. They describe that yogurt, right? So you've got yogurt as a subject, the linking verb is, and then two predicate adjectives. You've got sweet, tells us how the yogurt tastes. Creamy tells us its texture. They're both describing that subject. I should also just include real quick right here, adjectives would include words like numbers. So numbers can describe nouns, colors can describe nouns, sizes can describe nouns. These types of words are all adjectives. Something to be clear with, once again, only sentences that contain linking verbs can have predicate nouns and adjectives. So if your sentence has an action verb, it's something like, the example I always use is Mr. Hantak kicked the ball, right? The ball is not a predicate noun because there's no linking verb in that sentence. That ball would be an object. It's the thing getting kicked. Notice there, I am not a ball. It's the thing that I'm doing to the ball in that sentence. Predicate nouns and adjectives usually come right after a linking verb as well. Very rarely are we going to see predicate nouns or adjectives coming earlier in a sentence. One last thing before we do a little bit of practice as well. Don't confuse forms of to be as a linking verb with forms of be as a helping verb. We talked about how all of those be verbs can be linking verbs or helping verbs before. We do have to ask the question, what's my main verb in this sentence? So for instance, yogurt is a healthy food. There is a linking verb. It's connecting yogurt to food. Food would be a predicate noun. As a helping verb, we have Daniel is making yogurt. Is not a linking verb there. It's a helping verb because making is that main action verb. Notice there, Daniel is not yogurt, right? Yogurt is simply what Daniel is making. It's a direct object. The rest of our slides here are all practice. So, the directions that we'll kind of work through together here, and you may have to pause from time to time to try these on your own, is just to label any underlined words as predicate nouns, predicate adjectives, or neither. They might throw a couple of sentences at us that try to trick us. A couple of things to remember. Again, predicate nouns, they're going to follow linking verbs. They identify or rename the subject. Predicate adjectives, same thing, but they describe the subject instead. They are adjectives, not nouns. Once again, if we have an action verb, we're not going to have a predicate noun or adjective at all. So in the first one, we have milk drinkers can become ill. I think I'll walk us through this one, but then you may want to do some pausing on this video to try the rest. They give us the verb. They give us the word ill underlined here. We have to decide if that's a predicate noun and predicate adjective or neither. This one's going to be a predicate adjective. Become is a linking verb. Can is just a helping verb there. And what that linking verb is doing is it's connecting drinkers as our subject to ill. Ill being an adjective describing those milk drinkers, right? Ill just means sick. It's an adjective. If you have to pause the video, I encourage you to. I would like you to try these three sentences here. I will walk through each of them and why they are what they are, but we do want to give you a chance to try these on your own before we continue. Alright, let's go through these one by one here. So number 2, dairy farming is an important industry. I do see the linking verb is right there, so we are dealing with some kind of predicate noun or adjective here. Industry specifically is a predicate noun. It's just connecting farming to industry. Industry there is renaming or redefining the subject. Children will grow strong and healthy. There are 2 there. I'm going to work this one backwards. Let's say I know that strong and healthy are both adjectives, right? Odds are, if I'm seeing adjectives in the back half of a sentence, they are predicate adjectives. And that's what's happening in number 3. Grow is being used as a linking verb there. Strong and healthy, they're both describing the children. They are both predicate adjectives. Number 4, cows produce milk. This one is going to be neither, simply because produce is an action verb, not a linking verb. The cows are not milk. The cows are producing milk. It's an action verb that is neither a predicate noun nor a predicate adjective. There is one more slide that I would encourage you to try as well, although on this one they don't do any underlining for us. So we have to do a little more work on these to figure out what's going on. It says write each linking verb in the sentence, then write the predicate noun or predicate adjective and label it. So these sentences are guaranteed to have linking verbs, but now we have to identify those predicate nouns, predicate adjectives by ourselves. Again, take a moment to pause this video if you need to work these through on your own. I'll walk through each of them in a moment. Number 5, milk becomes spoiled if left out. So, to write the linking verb, we've got becomes right there. And our predicate adjective here is going to be spoiled. I don't have to worry about if left out right there. But spoiled is just an adjective describing the milk there. So our linking verb would be becomes, our predicate adjective would be spoiled. Number 6, milk is a dairy product. We've actually seen that sentence before, earlier in these notes. Is our linking verb. Product would be our predicate noun. If you treat a dairy product as a compound noun, that's fine as well. And number 7, farmers are careful about cleanliness. And this one, our linking verb is are. Careful would be an adjective describing the farmers. Once again, I don't want to throw a bunch of practice for predicate nouns and adjectives your way today, especially because a number of my students are working through sentence writing practice still from yesterday. I do want you to know this stuff well as you are preparing for in-person class again tomorrow. For my own students, just one last thing to look at in this video today, sentence writing practice. Again, so many of you turned this in, which I'm thrilled with. Although I do want to show one trick that might be helpful for those of you who had issues yesterday. I'd just be curious to see if this fixes a lot of our problems. I'm going to go to in progress real quick. For some of you, I see this weird access denied right there. I'm not sure what that is all about, but something that I would encourage you to try is there's this button that says can't see your document, click here. From there, it will give you a button that allows you to reconnect to your OneDrive, to Microsoft. Some of you may need to do that in order to get into your document. And then I click connect. Now I'm signing into mine right now, so I don't know if this will fix my problem with being able to see Adadapos. It doesn't, but I'm curious if on your end that fixes the problem. Again, a number of you reached out to me to say, hey, I was having some issues, and I appreciate that. Again, just wanted to be able to support you even more with that today. So, no new assignments, although if you still have to finish the sentence writing practice, please do so today as we get ready for tomorrow. If you are still having issues after trying this trick right here, please let me know, and I will find another way to get you those sentence writing prompts today as well. You guys are all the best. Been missing you guys. I really don't enjoy virtual teaching because, you know, I like to be in the classroom and interacting with you. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow again. Until then, peace.